This is the Jerry Hicks Show, your home for common sense content 5 nights a week, right here on the Censored Freedom Network. Now here is your host, Jerry Hicks.
Thank you so much, Dave, and thank you everybody for being here today. I am Jerry Hicks. This is the Jerry Hicks Show. We're glad to have you all here. If you are listening, ladies and gentlemen, to my voice, please make sure you hit that sub button, hit that bell. If we can get even 20 likes, can we get 20 likes on this? At least, like the very least 20 likes. That'd be great. Anyway, our big winner of the day, ladies and gentlemen, BitChute. Once again, BitChute 2 days in a row is our big winner of the day. Most views had on the platform. Huge shout out to those over on X. Everybody listening on Rumble, and the 2 of you listening over on YouTube. Glad to have all of you guys here with us tonight. Again, do make sure that you sub us up if you are on these platforms. We'd really, really appreciate that. That does help us out a lot. And if you'd share us out, that also helps get the word out about what we're doing here. Common sense content, ladies and gentlemen. Common sense content is what we're doing here. Let's hop on over to the news rack, ladies and gentlemen. We start out with the Department of Government Efficiency official page here on X. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, going through this page, reading some of these contracts that they have had, sounds almost like something you would hear written for Family Guy. I wish I was making that up. These contracts were officially canceled or verified as canceled today. $4.6 million contract to coordinate Zoom and in-person meetings. Okay, that seems normal. Listen to this one. $3 million contract. $3 million to write a report that shows that prior reports were not utilized by schools. So another report that won't get read, basically, is what they were writing for $3 million. I want $3 million to write a report that nobody else is going to read. Just saying, about reports that nobody else reads. That sounds like it's right out of Family Guy, ladies and gentlemen. To write a report that showed that prior reports weren't utilized. What? $1.4 million contract to physically observe mailing and clerical operations. Not to do anything, just sit there and watch them do their job, I guess. EPA has canceled 3 DEI contracts, saving Americans $45 million. Thank you, Lee Zeldin, for that one. 58 contracts canceled with a savings of $150 million, including media, DEI, and consulting. This includes $405,000 for resilience, energy, and sustainability programs and support services. But it gets worse. $4 million for DEIA program and project management for the DOT. What? There was one really, here it is. Here's the really stupid one on here. While looking into this, the team identified $25,000 award entitlement to empowering LGBTQIA. Ladies and gentlemen, it isn't about the program. Look what they were doing it at. Refugees in Greece. What the hell does Greece have anything to do with forwarding good life for America? Can somebody please explain that to me? Because I'm confused. And so is Chelsea Clinton. Chelsea Clinton is very confused, ladies and gentlemen, because she can't figure out why when the truth comes out, everybody's mad. She came out today with a statement and said, lies and conspiracies about my family and me are nothing new. I haven't heard any lies or conspiracies yet. Everything I've heard about her family has been more than true and dirty at that. Still, I am particularly troubled by the absurd claims that continue to pervade social media this week. Fact checks be damned. Oh, it doesn't sound like even the fact checkers were agreeing with her this time. I'm sorry. Did the fact checkers get it wrong? Did they stop doing what you paid them to do, Chelsea? I'm just curious. Facts. I'm proud of the Clinton Foundation work that has helped tens of millions of people worldwide, she says. Our impact speaks for itself. Oh, you bet the Clinton Foundation's impact definitely speaks for itself. I don't take a cent from the foundation. That's a lie. That 100% lie. Never have. In fact, my family personally contributes meaningfully to our work each year. Yeah, they call that tax evasion is what they're actually doing. Misinformation isn't just noise, it's a weapon. Efforts to undermine good work won't stop us, and we stand in solidarity with those who are committed to truth, public health, progress, and endless potential of our future. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, when she says truth, she means any truth that is only positive for her. That's what she means. Misinformation isn't just noise, it's a weapon. Yeah, it's the weapon that the left has tried to wield against the right for a very long time. Lies and misinformation. And then call us the liars or the ones spreading the misinformation, right? I love how she's so mad at the fact checkers, right? Because the left used to praise the fact checkers. Maybe they'll get shut down now because they're nothing but opinionation polls anyway. This here, ladies and gentlemen, the EPA, we talked about a moment ago, has saved all kind of money, right? But this was released the other day by Project Veritas. Check this out.
Now we're just having to get the money out as fast as possible before they come in and talk. It truly feels.
Oop. Sorry, we're having
the government-run program. It's harder. Now we're just having to get the money out as fast as possible before they come in and talk. It truly feels like we're on the Titanic and we're throwing gold bars off the hatch.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I showed you that to play you this from Administrator Lee Zeldin.
One of my very top priorities with EPA is to be an excellent steward of your hard-earned tax dollars.
That's the first time in a long time that any kind of bureaucrat or politician has said that, and I actually believe them.
Zero tolerance of any waste and abuse. An extremely disturbing video circulated 2 months ago featuring a Biden EPA political appointee talking about how they were tossing gold bars off the Titanic, rushing to get billions of your tax dollars out the door before Inauguration Day.
Of course, we just took a look at that video.
The gold bars were tax dollars, and tossing them off the Titanic meant the Biden administration knew they were wasting it. Following this revelation,
and most of it, if not all, was trying to be thrown out the door for climate change, ladies and gentlemen. Something that it doesn't even exist is an absolutely false narrative. And okay, let me rephrase that. Climate change exists. It changes every day. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's rainy, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's warm. The climate changes. That's what the climate does.
during my meetings with members of Congress, I made a very important commitment to them and to the American people, which I reiterated at the confirmation hearing that if confirmed, I would immediately get a full accounting. Fortunately, my awesome team at EPA has found the gold bars. Shockingly, roughly $20 billion of your tax dollars were parked at an outside financial institution by the Biden EPA.
Probably like some kind of hedge fund or something to that degree.
The scheme was the first of its kind in EPA history, and it was purposefully designed to obligate all of the money in a rush job with reduced oversight. Even further, this total of $20 billion was awarded to just 8 entities that were then responsible for doling out your money to NGOs and others at their discretion with far less transparency. Just under $7 billion was sent.
They give it to NGOs. NGOs pay themselves out to Democrat donors who turn around and put all the money right back into the Democrat Party. They're funneling money laundering. That is the epitome of money laundering, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly how it works, over and over and over. Not to count all the money laundering they've done with Act Blue. I can't wait till they really start digging into FEC and Act Blue, because there's so much corruption and fraud there, ladies and gentlemen. You might learn what a Smurf is if you don't know already. That one, I know for a fact, is dirtier than dirt. Let's get back to Lee here.
To one entity called the Climate United Fund. I'm sure you and I now have some of the same questions. How do these organizations decide how to allocate funding? How much money have they given out so far and to whom? Are there any former Biden EPA staffers who are now working at these entities? Let me make one thing abundantly clear. At this point, there is zero reason to suspect any wrongdoing by the bank. Here's my position as EPA administrator. The financial agent agreement with the bank needs to be instantly terminated, and the bank must immediately return all of the gold bars that the Biden administration tossed off the Titanic.
Get 'em, Lee.
EPA needs to reassume responsibility for all of these funds. We will review every penny that has gone out the door. I'll be referring this matter to the Inspector General's office, and we'll work with the Justice Department as well.
And we're going to hear from the Inspector General here coming up in just a second. But before we get to that story, ladies and gentlemen, another huge win. Gargantuan win. Tulsi Gabbard has been confirmed as Trump's Director of National Intelligence. A huge blow to the deep state, folks. We are winning left, right, and center. I understand that Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s up for confirmation tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, on Thursday, which would be tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got big wins going on here, left, right, and center. Doge is cleaning house, and we're putting in more and more officials that we can actually trust. Caroline Leavitt, ladies and gentlemen, our amazing, and I gotta say pretty gorgeous, press secretary, is bringing the receipts.
In the Oval yesterday gave us some information on that. We're just wondering if there's some proof, evidence. Is the White House willing to share?
So this is the left's new line. I don't know if you were able to hear that, but she's asking, is there any proof? Is there any evidence that all this fraud was actually happening, or is it just claims?
Evidence of those fraud claims, or can Elon Musk come to the briefing room and share material?
Even though we've showed piece after piece after piece after piece of evidence that they are, she ain't playing around, though, folks.
Evidence of what he's talking about?
She said, the reporter said, can Elon Musk come to the Oval Office or to the briefing room?
Sure, I would love for Elon Musk to come to the briefing room. That's why we had him go to the Oval Office yesterday, where I think he provided great answers. He was speaking in layman's terms, speaking common sense to all of you in the media, but also to Americans at home. But I would say especially to all of you in the media, because I think it's a real fallacy that there's this alleged lack of transparency when it comes to Doge. President Trump and Elon Musk have been incredibly transparent on what Doge is doing. There is an X account with the Doge handle. They are tweeting out what they are doing on a daily basis. They have a website where they are posting the receipts of the contracts that they are reviewing and the payments that they have stopped from going out the door. The secretaries of our departments have stopped.
Like I showed you earlier over on X, the Department of Government Efficiency page, where we started the show tonight.
From going out the door. And I would also say that before it was Elon Musk making our government efficient and accountable, it was some unnamed bureaucrat that none of you knew.
In the same department as we broke 2 nights ago, one of the first people to break the story at all, ladies and gentlemen, is that Obama created Doge. It was already a department that was in place, ready to go, and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Before, it was headed and stacked with people that were notoriously twiddling their thumbs and getting paid to do absolutely nothing. Now, it's headed and staffed by people who are going through and actually doing what they're supposed to do in this agency. All Trump did was reorganize and rename it. He just gave it a better name. That's it. That's all he did. It was already there, as we covered.
Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. He's also now one of the most highly scrutinized men in the world alongside President Trump because of what he's doing and the access that he is allowing. So there's great transparency. As for the actual receipts, we are happy to provide them, and I actually brought some today because
I love this girl.
all of you know I love to bring the receipts. We have contracts upon contracts that we can send and provide this information to you. Let me be very clear. We are not trying to hide anything. We have been incredibly transparent, and we will continue to be. These are screenshots of contracts that Doge found across our government. This is a DEI contract, $36,000 for U.S. citizenship and immigration services. That is against the president's policies and his America First agenda.
We'll get back around to that story here in just a second, too. There's more coming on that story.
This is a $3.4 million contract, a Council for Inclusive Innovation at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, Department of Commerce, another DEI contract that Doge identified.
Inclusive innovation in a department that literally steals your patents. That's not hyperbole. Look it up.
Continue to go through these. Oh, I love this one. $57,000 for climate change in Sri Lanka. What is this doing to continue the interests of the American people?
What she said.
Absolutely nothing. These are the line items across the federal government that Doge is identifying daily. They're moving very fast. There's a lot of paper that we can show you, but we're happy to do it. This administration has been more than transparent about what Doge is doing. And here's one of their tweets.
Absolutely more than transparent.
That they posted about the mine. I believe this is in Pennsylvania, where the federal employee retirement system is being processed.
On paper, by hand, in a mine, ladies and gentlemen. That's not exaggeration. That's really the way they're doing it. They're not on computers. They're a bunch of people in chairs in a literal mine doing this. This is insanity, ladies and gentlemen. And like she said, until yesterday, the American people didn't know that was a thing. And until today, some of you probably didn't, but there's more.
Just for a second. Earlier, the subcommittee headed by Chairman Marcia Taylor Greene, her and her staff discovered $2.7 trillion in improper payments to Medicare, Medicaid, overseas, to people who should not have gotten it. Some of this
Medicare and Medicaid has been scamming off the government for a very long time.
Might have missed that press conference. Can you elaborate on what the president is thinking at this point?
Well, again, that's another example. There's a very long list of the fraud, waste, and abuse that Doge is identifying on a daily basis. Elon Musk also talked about yesterday about Social Security payments that are going out the door for people who are no longer with us. Unfortunately, I would say that is certainly fraud. There's also a lot of contracts they've identified that, just as a hypothetical example, are $1 million, but only 500,000 went out the door. So where's the rest of that cash? And so that's the thing. Those are the things that Doge is working on every single day. And I would just remind everybody in this room, this is what President Trump campaigned on doing. He's delivering on a promise that
70+% of the population asked him to do. This is I seen a meme earlier and I shared it over on X. Democrats needed to quit telling us what us Americans want. We voted for what we want. Let him do his job. I think it's so funny that they're freaking out. Like I said yesterday. Take note of who's freaking out. Take note of who's screaming about what Doge is doing. Because those are the ones that are losing. Those were the ones that were the most corrupt. Their kickbacks are no longer coming in. Or their lobbyists are losing, which means they're still corrupt. I think we got a list of like 4 or 5 at this point. Just keep watching, ladies and gentlemen. Keep taking note of who these people are.
Does Elon Musk have power of the presidency?
Absolutely not.
Right.
This dumbass, yeah, I said it. Said, does Elon Musk have power of the presidency? What kind of idiot would even ask that question? These lefties are losing their bloody mind.
I asked that question.
These are a fake journalist is what that is, folks.
I asked that question because, the Democrats have been hurling insults at Elon Musk, hurling attacks, calling him President Musk. Most recently, Jamie Raskin, the congressman, took it a step further, calling for Musk's impeachment, saying that he somehow usurped the power of the presidency. What's your response?
Yeah. That question was just as stupid as it sounded, folks. That dummy really said that.
It's utterly ridiculous. Elon Musk addressed this in the Oval Office yesterday. The president addressed it as well. Elon Musk is serving at the pleasure of the president, just like everybody else on this team. He takes directives directly from the president of the United States. And I think some of the comments that you referred to are nothing more than a failed attempt from the media and from Democrats to try to sow division in this White House. We saw them do it in the first term. We're not going to let them do it in the second term. This is a unified team who is working at the pleasure of the president to do what's right for the American people.
Man, that press room is filled up. And she don't circle back around. She ain't got to. She lays it out. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is one of the best press secretaries we've had. Now, mind you, we've had some good ones in between two administrations, but this is one of the best. Speaking of the best, this is one of the best DOJ heads that we have had. Attorney General Pam Bondi laying it out, ladies and gentlemen. She held a press conference earlier today. Here's what she had to say.
We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. We're here today.
And then she brought the lady up. I cannot play the lady's testimony on here, as even though it was allowed for them, I don't think YouTube will allow me to, because, you know, I don't have an AP patent, right? But, oh, crud. But I wanted to play this next little piece right after she steps away here.
And if you don't comply with federal law,
intercepted in jail.
There we go.
We were letting walk into our country. And that's why President Trump has directed this to stop. And if you don't comply with federal law, we will hold you accountable. We did it to Illinois. Strike one. Strike two is New York. And if you are a state not complying with federal law, you're next. Get ready. And the great men and women of law enforcement are standing behind me today. We have FBI, DEA.
Ladies and gentlemen, she ain't playing. If you're harboring illegal aliens, if you're a sanctuary city, get ready. Because if you challenge this administration and think you're going to get away with turning your nose up at federal law, there will be prices to pay. And ladies and gentlemen, speaking of prices to pay, people are pissed. A GOP congressman wants Ilhan Omar arrested and deported back to Somalia for treason. What do you guys think? A first-term congressman and son-in-law conservative filmmaker Dinesh D'Souza asked supporters to sign a petition to deport Omar in a fundraising email. The email reads, "Friend, we should have never let Ilhan Omar into this country. And frankly, America would be a much better place if she were to be sent back to Somalia. Recently, it came out that Ilhan Omar is hosting free workshops for Somalians who are in our country illegally on how to evade ICE and deportation. It could not be more blatant. Ilhan Omar is more loyal to illegal Somalians than she is to the United States or the office she's elected to. It's an absolute disgrace." The second email, "A sitting member of Congress is facilitating a full-scale invasion of our country. A normal society would refer to that as treason," and I do. "But regardless of labels, one thing is clear. The time has come to arrest and deport Ilhan Omar." Remember, ladies and gentlemen, DNA testing has proved she married her biological brother in order to get into this country. I'm going to repeat that because it's important. DNA testing has, without a doubt, proved she lied and cheated by marrying her own brother. Incest, anybody? To get into this country. Folks, this lady does not deserve to be in this country, let alone be in Congress. If we did that in another country, there's no way we could even get into their Congress. C.D. Spivey, my co-host on Censored Freedom, said the other day, we are way too generous to people in this country. people that don't belong in this country. We're still way too generous. Big win in court, ladies and gentlemen. Win, win, win. Judge lifts pause on Trump's federal worker buyout program. They really are powerless, ladies and gentlemen. The judicial branch does not run the executive branch. They can try, but they will fail. And they have failed again. A federal judge on Wednesday lifted a pause on Trump's federal worker buyout program earlier this month. President Trump announced he is offering buyouts to millions of federal workers if they resign by February 6th. Well, a court decided to try to shut that down. Another court has said, no, this is absolutely and utterly not a problem. Also, and I don't have the story up here, a judge has ruled that it is absolutely constitutional for the executive branch to decide whether or not to freeze funds. Nothing they can do on that either. Folks, hashtag winning all day long. Well, almost all day long, folks. I had to include this. This is very, very, very important in my opinion. Cincinnati Children's Hospital denies heart transplant to a 12-year-old girl. I don't care if she's related to J.D. Vance or not. That's not the important part of this. Because she refused to take an experiment. And because she refused to be a part of an experiment, an ongoing experiment clearly, then they refused to put her on the donor list, folks. This madness has got to stop. We've got to make noise about this. This hospital needs to be investigated. This hospital needs to have all funding stripped from it. Any hospital that is forcing that is forcing you to be a part of an experiment of any type, especially if you have a religious exemption from it, ladies and gentlemen, it's her right to choose whether or not to be a part of an experiment. And the fact that this hospital would not put her on a transplant list for a heart because she refused to be a part of this experiment shows that we need to audit every aspect of the medical system in this country. You want us to send Doge your way? Because I think that's what needs to happen. If there's any kind of medical payout whatsoever going to these hospitals, Medicare, Medicaid, government assistance of any type, it needs to be cut immediately. Period. Full stop. If you're not going to do your job, if you're not going to actually save this child's life, and you care more about getting paid by Big Pharma than saving a life, what does that say about our medical system, folks? Who really owns the hospitals? Are they there to treat you? No. A healed patient is a lost patient. Hospital's job are to keep you sick. You know how often I get sick? Once every decade or so. You know how often I go to the hospital? Once every decade or so. If that. Sometimes not even when I do get sick. Why? Because if I give a man money and tell him to find something wrong with me, he's going to find something wrong with me. If I give a man money and tell him to find cancer, he found cancer. Do you see how this works, ladies and gentlemen? The hospitals have forgotten they're at the mercy of other people. The hospitals have forgotten who their customer base is. You're not their customer base, ladies and gentlemen. You're not. Pfizer is their customer base. Moderna is their customer base. Ladies and gentlemen, hospitals are not here to help you. They're not here to save you. They're not going to make you well. They're not going to make you better. If you have a broken leg, sure, they can wrap it up and fix that. But they're not going to make you better. And then they're going to give you painkillers. And then you're going to be hooked and addicted to these painkillers because you had to have some kind of emergency surgery in this hospital that does not care about you. They work for Big Pharma. They don't work for you. They're no better than these politicians, ladies and gentlemen. They're one and the same group. The politicians don't work for you either. They work for the highest bidder. And a lot of times, that's Big Pharma. That's Pfizer. That's Moderna. Why do you think they haven't fixed this yet? Why do you think this hospital is allowed to get away with doing this? Yeah, it's a private company. I understand that. They still can be mandated against the law in this country to force somebody to be a part of this experiment. It's against law internationally. Maybe these doctors need to be brought up on charges within the Geneva Convention. Yeah, I mean it. I can't express to you how much this pisses me off. And if it don't piss you off, something's seriously wrong with you. 5 years later, we're still fighting this battle? For those that don't know, ladies and gentlemen, I gave up everything. I had the golden goose, the silver spoon. I lived amongst the elites themselves. And I gave all that up because I refused to be a part of this experiment. This experiment right here. And the fact that this hospital will put a child's life at risk to get a couple dollars from Pfizer or Moderna or J&J. Folks, this ain't a hospital. This ain't a medical system. We need to get rid of these companies. I don't know how. I don't have that solution. It's up to you guys. But I'm absolutely 100% positive we make enough noise and they won't have a choice. And that's where it comes to every last one of us speaking up, sharing this content out, letting people know about this, letting people know that this is still going on. We have an administration right now that's willing to listen to the American people. Can we get this fixed? Can we get this show to somebody that can actually make a difference here? Can we make this a headline story? Something? I don't know who these folks are. I know they live in Cincinnati. And I know because they wouldn't be a part of the same experiment that I refuse to be a part of, that the hospital is putting this child's life at risk, not the family. The child didn't ask to be born with heart defects. It's not the family's fault. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening to this show and you have any ability to do something about this whatsoever, even if it's just sharing it to somebody else who might, please, get it out there. We've still got to fight the fight in this, folks. We still don't know the long-term effects. We're just now coming to the edge of the short-term effects, ladies and gentlemen. And it ain't looking good. I read a list of sides the other day that was as long as this article is. And each line was another side, another problem, another issue with this experiment. I don't blame her for not wanting to take it. It's her right not to want to take it. But is it the hospital's right to deny service? I guess therein lies the question. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, the Chinese spy balloon that Joe Biden let float all across the United States, him and Mark Milley hid from people as long as they could, they knew it from day one, was loaded with U.S. technology that they used against us. China did, flying a balloon across this country. Ladies and gentlemen, we are winning. I know it don't seem like it with the last two articles, but we are winning. And because we are winning, folks, let's get the right scene back over here. Because we are winning, folks, we have the chance to continue to make a difference. Let's not let the momentum down. If there's something we want done, if there's something that needs to happen, make noise. Scream about it from the top of your lungs. Because for once in my lifetime, Twice in my lifetime now, I guess I could say. We have an administration that's for the American people. Ladies and gentlemen, that music means it's the end of the show. I am Jerry Hicks. This is the Jerry Hicks Show. Check us out over on BitChute. Again, our big winner of the day. Rumble, X, YouTube. And of course, we are part of the Censored Freedom Network. My name's Jerry Hicks. Remember, until next we meet, ladies and gentlemen, stay awake, but dare to dream. Good night, everybody.